My name is Laura Marie Coleman, and thanks for joining me for this video about addition and subtraction word problem situations. We're going to look at an overview of all the different kinds of word problem situations students interact with. Take a look at these three problems. What's the same and what's different? Let's gather some information about word problem situations, and then we're going to come back to these. Our goal is by the end of this video, you'll understand how to differentiate between the various types of word problem situations your students encounter. This table can be found in the progressions documents. It also can be found in the Common Core standards and many state standards. There's a table for multiplication and division too. This one happens to be for the addition and subtraction situations. The first two rows on this table talk about add to and take from problems. Add to and take from describe what happens in the story. In an add to problem, we always start with some amount and then we add to that amount in the story. It's the action that happens. In the take from stories, the action that happens is we start with a given amount and then we take some of that amount away. Across the top, you'll see result unknown, change unknown, and start unknown. So add to and take from are about what happens in the story. These unknowns are what the question is asking. So if we have some and we add to it, we're asking what's the total now? That's the result. If we have some and we add to it, but we don't know how many we add, then the change is unknown. And if we add to and we know the total, but we don't know how much we started with, and that's what the question's about, that's a start unknown problem. So let's practice thinking about it. Let's go back to those three problems. The first one, there are 3 birds in a tree, 5 more birds come sit in the tree. How many birds are in the tree now? So it's add to because we start with 3 birds and we add 5 more. And it's a result unknown because the question is how many birds are in the tree after more birds came. If we look at the second problem at the top here, the cookies, there are 10 cookies on the plate. Some more cookies are put on the plate. So there's our add to. Now there are 15 cookies. How many cookies were put on the plate? So the unknown here is not the total. We're told the total. But what we don't know is what was the change. We know we started with 10, we added some more, but we don't know how many, and we ended up with 15. So this is an add to change unknown problem. Let's look at the third one here. I opened a box of pencils. I put 6 more pencils in the box. Now there are 14 pencils. So I start with a box of pencils. I add to that box of pencils. So this is an add to problem. I find out that there are 14 pencils, so it's not a result unknown. I know the result. How many pencils were in the box when I opened it? That question is asking us, what was the starting amount? So this is an add to start unknown problem. So similar to add to, we have take from, which are all stories where we start with some amount and we take them away. And the question might be about the final result, the change, how many did we take away? Or if we know how many we took away and we know the final result, what would the start be? Put together, take apart is a slightly different situation. In put together, take apart problems, everything that we're talking about is in the set when we start the story. The last type of problems for addition and subtraction are comparison. You'll see that there's 2 options in each box. Those 2 options in each of the 3 columns are about the language used for comparison. So one of them is a compare problem that uses how many more, and the other one talks about fewer when they describe the comparison relationship. The top labels for these columns are difference unknown, bigger unknown, smaller unknown. Just like the other rows, top label is about what is the question asking us to solve for. If we're solving for the difference between two quantities, it's going to be in that first column. If we're solving for the larger of the two quantities, it's a problem that goes in that middle column. And if we're solving for the smaller of the two quantities, it's in that final column. So in summary, the story, not the operation students use to solve, determines the type of word problem situation. It also is classified by what the question is asking. So we could have an add to problem where we might solve it with subtraction because the question is asking us to find the change. So add to doesn't mean it's addition. It just tells us about the kind of story that it is. The other point with this is, why is this important? So you need to be able to identify what kinds of word problems your students are doing and what the situation is, so that you can identify the types of situations that are tripping your students up. And once you identify that, you want to be able to create the specific type of word problem situation that they need to practice. Thanks for joining me for this video. I hope you'll check out pimaedu.com for more content, videos, and resources, and reach out if you'd like to schedule your own custom PD or training.